Sounds good. All right. It is weird though. In Zencastr, it says my microphone is unknown, which I don't understand why. Even though I selected in the microphone settings, NVIDIA broadcast. So,
oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's because it's running through NVIDIA broadcast, it's not recognizing the specific type of mic.
It could be
because mine will recognize the HyperX Quadcast, like it knows that. But I'm wondering if it was because it's running through a program, it doesn't realize what it is. Maybe
because it changes over, because NVIDIA broadcast makes me select my mic, and then it makes me select NVIDIA broadcast within Zencastr, and it finally let me have a custom background. It was like not liking it for a while. That says, I don't know. Oh well, enough of that tech talk. We can get started. Let me know when you are ready to roll, sir.
Ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 66. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm Todd Oxtra, way up north in Minnesota, and joined by my East Coast friend, the Canadian Mark Carabin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. How are you?
Not bad. When the world gets us down, I enjoy our time together to just talk about dumb, stupid stuff that distracts us from the world around us. So that's why we're here.
Absolutely.
Talk about the world of games,
I cannot agree more. I was very much looking forward to getting a little distraction. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I was very much looking forward to recording with you tonight and chatting video games for a little bit. So let's get at it.
Yeah, I believe you've been upgraded to Mark 2.0 now. You've been fully vaccinated, correct?
Yeah. So, kind of. I got my second dose a week ago today. So we're recording Tuesday night. So I am a week in. So after your second dose, you need to wait that 2-week period. So I'm like Mark 1.8 or whatever you want to consider that. I guess I have that one more week. 1.9.
They had Netflix, they had themes, and all those other cool things we've been waiting for. So we'll see what happens first.
Exactly. My tracking chip and 5G are almost completely loaded and ready to go.
All right, folks.
I'm feeling good though. I had like no symptoms. Like my arm was a tiny bit stiff the next day. Otherwise, like nothing. Did not slow me down whatsoever. Don't know if it's just luck or whatever. Or some people were saying when they mixed. So I got 2 Pfizer doses. Mm-hmm. Some people were saying like, because a lot of people up here are getting like mixed, like Pfizer and Moderna.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that seems to have worsened some people's reaction. So I don't know. I actually my second dose, the first appointment that I booked was supposed to be Moderna, and then I got an earlier appointment and it ended up being Pfizer, and I was like, just stick something in my arm. Let's go.
Let it rip.
So I don't know. I'm feeling good though. I'm excited to start to get back to normal.
It's going to be so nice. And folks, one way you can help us, getting vaccinated, of course, but we are on YouTube. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Mark's doing a great job of editing those bad boys, getting them up so you can see our wonderful, beautiful faces, see all of my prop comic antics when I add them. And we just have a good time up there. So it's good to see us and our swag. Like today, I'm wearing a new Secret Friends Unite shirt. So
I'm
please.
Wearing a Mario shirt because I'm terrible. And
Mark,
just one of our shirts yet.
Oh, my goodness. We'll get you hooked up. We just need to add a real good international shipping option. So we'll get to that too.
I'll get to it.
So yeah, if you want shirts, you can go to TeePublic and go to Secret Friends Unite and get shirts. But the other thing you can really do to help us out is subscribe to our podcast feed. We have made changes. We talked about this before, but we are now really official that you need to subscribe to our podcast feeds. We have individual feeds for each of our podcasts. And Mark, we are building our group feed, and that is on its way. So
that one's ready to go. It's there. Okay. It is live. So the good news and the bad news. The bad news for anyone listening to this show on the old shared feed, I'm not sure how long. Actually, I don't even know if this episode is going to go up on that old the Podomatic shared feed. I'm not sure if you're
Nope,
still
we
updated
won't
with
do
that.
it. Nope, not doing it
So if
anymore.
you're listening to this episode, you're safe. But hopefully, anyone that is still on the old shared feed, it's only that one feed that has all of the shows, and that's the only one that, yeah, if you're subscribed to that one, it's not going to be updated. But we are going to record. We just need all three of us at once, and this is a hectic week for me, a bit very busy, hectic week for Charlie as well. And it's not it's just not the best time for us to all record a group thing. But we're going to record a group message, and we're going to put that one on that old shared feed just to let everyone know what's going on and whatever. But like I said, if you're listening to this right now, that means you're probably on the solo feed or the new share feed, and you're all good to go.
Yeah, just a pro tip when you're looking, there may be two Secret Friends Unite. Look for the one without mine and Charlie's name in as the creators. I believe everyone we have under our website feed is under just Secret Friends Unite. So if
Yes.
you see my name and Charlie's, avoid those.
And this one's the new shared feed is called Secret Friends Network.
Perfect.
So I believe it's just Secret Friends Network or Secret Friends Podcast Network. I'm going to try. I think it's just under Secret Friends Network on like Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever. So that is live. So we'll be updating that. And like I said, if you're listening to this, you're probably already good. And if this is your first podcast on the Secret Friends Unite Network, you just discovered the network, the shared feed. Thanks for joining us. We have solo feeds as well, but the combo feed's a good place to listen to everything.
Absolutely, and we'd love it if you gave us a 5-star review in iTunes. I don't even think any other services actually allow ratings, but that's okay. Just tell us what you like about the show, and if there's anything you want us to address, absolutely do that as well. And if give us a review, we'll read it on the show.
Absolutely. You can also tell us about what you think about the show or any of the shows, or join in the conversation. And you'll see later we have lots of feedback from people listening, and that's coming from our Discord server. So we just started up a Discord channel, a Discord server. We have channels for all of the shows. We have we're like a cooking channel. People have been sharing a lot of like cooking and recipes and like different barbecue and stuff like that. It's really kind of growing into its own little thing. So it's kind of great. I'm loving it in there, and we're just looking for more great people to geek out about pretty much whatever you want to, really, whether it's barbecue or video games, Star Trek, Star Wars, comic books, toys, whatever. It's a great place. And we just want more people on there. So links in the show notes, but you can also follow us all on Twitter, and we'll share all that kind of stuff later. But jump in the Discord. The group's growing. It's really fun.
It's very fun. So, and in the future, maybe when we can get some good gaming goodness going, we can use Discord as our main way to chat and stay connected, because
Absolutely.
we know it's very hard to get the right friend codes and everything. So this is a great way to do it. So, Mark, when we're not discussing things on Discord, we're playing games. So we've been playing some games. So why don't you kick us off, bud?
Sure. I was lucky enough to get a code for this one from Terminals and THQ Nordic. This is Destroy All Humans for Switch. This game's also out on Game Pass. So if you subscribe to Game Pass, really, there's no need to get it on Switch that I've seen so far. But if you are mainly a Switch player, or you like playing things on the go, it's a great option. The Switch version. So I've played both versions now, the Xbox Series X version and the Switch version. I've been playing them side by side, comparing them. The Switch version definitely takes a hit. It graphically, gameplay wise, it's pretty much the same. Like it holds up, but graphically, you can see a lot of like texture pop in, especially draw distance kind of takes a hit. That usual kind of stuff that happens with a Switch port. But overall, it's a pretty good port. The load times could be a little better, but overall, this is another pretty good port from THQ. It's not bad. And like I said, if this is your preferred place to play, you can go into this one knowing that you're getting the same good old destroy all humans, just ridiculous kind of gameplay and story. And if you're not familiar with Destroy All Humans, basically you play as an alien and your mission is to destroy all humans. So you start off on a farm, you then go to, I think that the second stage is like a fair, and you have to don a disguise and get some woman to follow you back to your spaceship. It is crude humor. It starts off, if you're easily offended, like it starts off, you're stepping in cow poop and you watch a cow poop all over the place. And then you're destroying people and blowing heads off and vaporizing things. If you have a problem killing humans, maybe Destroy All Humans is not the game for you, but it's all very tongue in cheek. The alien sounds like a pissed off Jack Nicholson. It's a wacky, weird, fun game. I'm really enjoying it because it's just mindless, stupid video game fun. But that's basically it. If that sounds appealing to you, like, check this game out. It's, like I said, it's on Game Pass, but the Switch version, aside from some texture popping and stuff, like it does the job. It's entertaining, and I've been playing it on the go and very much enjoying being able to destroy all humans anywhere. It's satisfying.
I remember that game had some like really unique powers. Could you like do mind control, things like that too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can basically just vaporize someone. You can read their thoughts, do some kind of mind control stuff. You can kind of don a disguise, so you basically clone a person, and then you can kind of incapacitate them whatever way you want to. You can also levitate things with your mind or the ray gun or whatever it is, and throw them. I killed someone with a chicken. That was fun. It's
Makes sense.
it's wacky, and then you can get in your spaceship and really do some damage. And you can upgrade all your there's a big skill tree, and you can choose that stuff. Both versions have a ton of like skins and unlockables all ready to go, and you can unlock more as you progress through the game. It's just mindless, dumb video game fun. I love it.
It's amazing what THQ, that company has had such a crazy experience. It got too crazy. Did what the UDraw tablet or whatever, kind of killed the company. But then they've come back, and now they have absorbed licenses. They're making original content, and it's great to see these games come back and have a second life, because gamers are coming to consoles every day, and because of that, back in the day, you didn't always get reboots or remakes or things like that, or even just decent ports. So it's great.
Yeah. So the original Destroy All Humans was released in 2005, and that's one thing that I'll say about this one is I was kind of expecting the Switch version not to have that much kind of pop in, but it seems like this is you're not like. So if the Xbox version is a remake, that you can still kind of tell is an older, like it's based off of an older game. Like there are some nicer textures, there's faster load times, all that kind of stuff that you'd expect on the Xbox. But on the Switch version, I kind of expected it to be maybe more of a faithful port rather than a remake of like the PlayStation 2, Xbox. Is it Xbox or Xbox 360? Xbox, I think.
God, yeah, you're probably right on the cusp. Yeah.
So I was kind of expecting more of a port rather than the remake, but it seems like they took the remake version and just kind of did that like Witcher style magic.
De-resed,
however the hell they flip those switches, and it seems to be doing it dynamically and on the fly, which is kind of cool. So it kind of makes me wish that we did get a more powerful Switch, because I think this game could take advantage of more powerful hardware. I've played it both docked and handheld, and I'm noticing the same kind of thing. But I think if the Switch could get overclocked a little bit, you wouldn't see things pop in as much. So I don't know. At first, it kind of surprised me, because I was like, well, what are they doing with this? Like, couldn't they have done a port maybe more, I don't know, accurately? But I think that probably gets into a mess where this is kind of a port of a remake or whatever. Anyway,
sure.
It does hold up. Like I said, it's not going to be the prettiest one, but it's fun. It's good. It will scratch that itch for you if you're feeling like Destroying All Humans on the go.
Hey, it's the only way you can play in Jack Nicholson Alien. So
That's
really, that's your sweet spot with Mars
that's it. And
Attacks kind of feel. Yeah,
it's fun, and you're like the overlord, the alien that's kind of giving you missions. I should actually look up the voice cast for this because I think it's the same dude that does another voice in the next game I'll be playing. So you know what? I'm going to let you talk about a game first, and I'm going to look up
sure.
the voice cast for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about a game that I did not think I would like, but I was interested enough because it looked really cool, and that's Scarlet Nexus. And for the longest time, I was actually calling Crimson Nexus. I don't know why. Scarlet, Crimson, pretty much not the same thing. Scarlet Nexus is made by Bandai Namco. It looks like an anime, and it plays like a Devil May Cry. But it does have almost a feel of an RPG, where Devil May Cry really doesn't have. It has like the most limited things where you upgrade your weapons, but this is a full-on RPG, skill tree, equipment, and it's very anime game where you've got a lot of relationships. You have bonding missions, Mark. So, there's going to be, ooh, do you like so-and-so? Or did you give her the right gift that shows that you like her? And then if you go to give somebody a gift and you don't have anything in your inventory, it's like, that's me not to give me anything. It's very weird. It's very JRPG, like that
Right.
relationships kind of over the top. It does
Yeah.
have it's a future world where there's this force of I call it like psychic cops, where they're a crew. They go out and use their special abilities to take down these things called the Others, which are these monsters that like to eat human brains. But
Uh-oh.
these, yes, it's
We
very
need
common.
those. Some of us.
Exactly. But the monsters look like they were made out of furniture, garbage, and nightmares. They are weird. It's like a house with arms
Worst
and
version of
mannequin
Pokemon.
legs and like knit stockings. So very like weird, not sexy, but kind of weird sexy, like Silent Hill nurses, where they're like, what are you doing to me? But the game has really fun combat.
That has to be the name of this episode. Not sexy, but kind of weird sexy.
Okay,
That,
sure, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quote of the day.
Yeah, the nightmare things where they put two things together. It's like, what are you doing to me? But it's very entertaining. The combat's very good. I'm enjoying it a lot. You do get teammates that you get to use their abilities, which I thought was a really cool idea. It's called SAS or something like that, where like you can then see. You can go invisible. You get invulnerability. You get flame powers. You get electric powers, and then you upgrade your weapons. But there's also drama about your father and family, and you get texts from people, and you have to follow up on them. So it's a weird mess of things, but the actual narrative isn't that annoying, which is great. Because if it would have been like over the top, like I've had problems with the Yakuza series where it's just too much talky. There's just the right amount of talky, enough punchy that I like that. So it's making me happy. I'm about 4 hours into it, and I'm really enjoying it. It hasn't frustrated me enough. I thought I was going to stop, but then I really got into the combat and understanding what I needed to do, and it's really enjoyable. So Scarlet Nexus, it's on Xbox One. I mean, it's on pretty much all modern consoles, and I'm playing. Basically, get a free upgrade to PS5 because I'm playing on PS4. Got a free upgrade to PS5. Looks beautiful, smooth, wonderful, quick load times, and I'm enjoying it. So check it out. It's not free. This is the game people thought was going to be on Game Pass, and it wasn't. So it's a full price experience, but I wouldn't be surprised in like 6 months if this comes to Game Pass PS Now, just because they want to get that first bite and then get people in this game. But I'd highly recommend it if you're interested in a really cool action combat game. So
cool. It sounds interesting for sure. Some of your description is like,
Ryan Trufford and Sean Capri were talking about on Xbox Drive, and at first they scared me away because they're like, oh, it's an 80-hour game. I'm like, no. And then they came back and took it back and said it's a 25-hour game, but you can choose either a female or male character and play the game twice, essentially.
Okay. All right. That's
if you want.
Too daunting then.
No.
Yeah. Depends on the story beats. If I'm like, if I have to experience both to get the full story, then I consider that
No,
like a 50 to 80 hour game or whatever. So that's good. Yeah, I've heard some people talk about that, but it's good to get your rundown too.
it's a pretty game. It's a very pretty game.
Awesome, awesome. I might have to try that out. So I was right. I quickly looked it up, and the voice actor from uh, for Orthopox, who's kind of your leader, is Richard Stephen Horvitz, who also he's been in a ton of stuff. He does a ton of voice acting, um, but the one that I was thinking of is it's basically the exact same voice as Chaos from Skylanders.
Ah, gotcha.
So if you've watched Skylanders
He's,
Academy, which I've been watching with Finn, and he loves it. He loves the theme song. Anytime I put on
oh,
the Timbaland theme song, like
mm-hmm.
he like shakes his booty. He was stomping his feet today.
Oh,
It's great. He loves it. So we've been watching that show, and it's funnier than I expected it to be. It's kind of like my wife described it as like the cartoon version of Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
oh,
with
perfect.
Spyro being Jake Peralta, because like he just thinks he's the best and he
Sure.
doesn't need help, but like it's eventually kind of him realizing that he's kind of part of a team, and you have like you just yeah, it's a good show. But I've been also playing Skylanders Imaginators because I've been watching this show. And I used to love the Skylanders games, and Sean Capri's been talking about them. I was
Mm-hmm.
talking about them a little bit the last couple of weeks, and I just said, you know what? I never played Imaginators. I saw it on sale online, like a Facebook thing, for $10 for Xbox One.
Oh, wow. What a
And
find.
it came with like the two Imaginators and the crystal thing that you need, and the base and the game, like perfect condition. And this woman, I talked to her, she was like, "Yeah, look, my kids are a little older now." I was like, "I'm 36, whatever."
It's not
Uh,
it's for my son.
yeah, it's for my 1 year old who can't properly hold a controller without smashing it, which he loves to do. He turns on, he knows the button to turn on my Xbox, whether it's on the console or on the controller, and then he just throws the controller once he's turned the Xbox on, which is awesome. But anyway, she was like, "Yeah, they got a gaming PC. They don't really play this. I was going to give it away, but I figured I could make a little bit of money." So she was like, "I don't know, $10." I was like, "Done. Let's go." So
Perfect.
I've been playing that. I broke out all my old Skylanders, so I have like the old team back together, and I missed this game the first time around. I kind of got out of Skylanders.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like Superchargers, then this game, and I didn't play either of those. Um, but it's just dumb fun. I needed to pick me up. This may be a good time to start saying why we had to give away our dog this week. Um, I think it was the last time we recorded. So it would have been the last episode was released on a Wednesday. The day after that, on that Thursday, Stella kind of bit at Finn. She didn't really bite him, so there's like no permanent damage, but he did have a scratch on his nose, and got dangerously close to his eye, and anything really close to, on the face, as that kind of aggressive chomp, is not great. We knew she wasn't awesome with kids, but we were hoping she'd kind of warm up to him, because he's always around. He gives her food. He's looks like us, smells like us, blah blah blah. We Over the past year, we've taken her to extra training. We've done like gating, different things. Like I said, him giving her food. We've talked to, I'm going to say, 3 or 4 different dog experts, at least, with various training or tips, or like going to classes. We've tried different kind of collars, and just essentially everything, every single thing that we could do for literally the last year. Um, with an especial push on the last 6 months, once he started kind of crawling around and moving more, we really kind of pushed at it. And it just, it got too much. So we had to make that decision, and it sucks. She was with us for 9.5 years and was just the best for us. But with that kind of thing, I was sitting right next to her when it happened. Like, I mean, basically on the same couch cushion. And Finn came over. He was just crawling around, and she was kind of cleaning herself. And the next thing I know, I was not quick enough to stop it. And we both, my wife and I, every time he moves, we were on high anxiety. So that's kind of what happened. But we were lucky to work with a fantastic rescue slash rehoming place. They found her a new home pretty much right away. We worked with them for a few days. So she's going off with a wonderful elderly woman, and her daughter and son-in-law live right next to her, and they have a nice kind of like farmhouse kind of thing in the country. So lots of place for Stella to run around. And so she's going to get more attention than we could give her. And that was the best option for us and for her, I think. So it sucks. She just left us yesterday. It is very rough. Not my finger's not on the mute switch today, which is good, but also just sucks. So I've needed something to cheer me up, and Skylanders was it for me. So I'm happy for that woman for selling Skylanders to me for $10, and for Sean for talking about it, because it kind of planted that seed of like, yeah, you know what? That's just dumb fun. So like my wife came down last night, and I was pretty sad last night after everyone went to bed, and she came down for a drink after she had been upstairs for a bit. And I'm just like hunkered down over the coffee table with all my little figures spread out. I had my headphones on.
Yep.
And she had texted me, but my phone was over on the charger. I even took my watch off. There was I was fully immersed in this world. There was no notifications, nothing. And I was just like fully just in there, right? With my dumb little figures. I was like, we were laughing about it today because she was like, I thought you were dead. You never don't answer your phone, your watch, something like it's going off. Sean actually just finished he finished all his workout rings on his watch.
Perfect.
So congrats, Sean. Good stuff. I did not finish my exercise ring today yet. But anyway, she came down and she was just laughing like, I thought you were dead. What, you never aren't looking, or you don't have your watch on or whatever. And I was like, I just needed a break from everything, and I needed to Skylanders. She was just like, you're ridiculous. You're a 36-year-old man with a child, and,
Absolutely,
and a mortgage. And I was like, yep, but I needed some dumb fun. So we're going to talk about some dumb fun later. But I wanted to say I was playing Skylanders, and I've gotten a decent amount, a great amount of, I can't say decent, a great amount of support through both their Discord and Twitter from people talking about, I shared a little bit about what happened with Stella, and people have been very supportive and have gone through the same thing. You're one of them, Todd. So thank you so much for talking me through all this, because it's been rough, but I know it's the right thing, and everyone's kind of backed me up and been ridiculously supportive. So we talked about how great the Discord group is, and that's another thing. It's just a great support network, and Twitter's been the same. So thanks to everyone that reached out, and you too, Todd, and Charlie. It's been a rough few days, but you guys make it better.
It's not easy, but it does get better, Mark. And yeah, you're going to feel like you have something missing, but we did the same thing with our little Zoe. Logan was 2 years old, went through the same thing. Logan got bit twice, and we just knew it wasn't the right fit. So we found Zoe a new home, and she had to be retrained and everything, but we found out it worked for the best. And years later, we've moved on, and we've got a new dog that my son loves to pieces. Yep. And I assume that's what's going to happen. So you guys are going to find love again.
Yep.
As we do. So, but I will say, Logan was a Skylanders kid, Mark. He loves Skylanders. So I was in deep, and God almighty, the battles we had about, how much am I going to have to spend on this game? And he started from the very beginning of Skylanders, and I think Imaginators was his last. Okay. Is that the one with the combiners? He had the ones that like the broken half.
Yeah, that was Swap Force. I had
Swap
that
Force.
One. So
and he had Imaginators was his last one. Yeah.
For Swap Force, and I think that's when I bounced out the first time, because for that game I was like a grown ass man making like spreadsheets, because I needed to know which because like there if you haven't played a Skylanders game, which a lot of people probably haven't because they haven't made them in a
No,
few
it's been
years.
gone forever now. Yeah.
So there are certain points of the game that were locked behind different elemental powers,
Mm-hmm.
and for that game, there were certain places that were locked behind the combination of two different like powers and abilities, or elemental styles and power abilities. So like teleporting or bouncing or whatever it was, that whatever stupid little gimmicks they. So I made a spreadsheet of like, okay, if I buy, let's say these 5 or 6, because I think there were 5 or 6 different powers, but also 5 or 6 different elements or whatever it was. And it was like, I had to make sure, because I think when they released them, there were like 3 of each type or 2 of each
Mm-hmm.
type or something. So I made this like spreadsheet to be like, if I got only these 5, I'm spending the least amount of money, but I can unlock everything in the game. So like that's when I knew. I was like, I did that, and then I was just like, what am I actually doing? I gotta
There's an
stop this.
intervention involved, wasn't there, Mark?
There should have been probably, but I intervened myself. So and I think that's it's like we've been talking, obviously, like playing this game, and my wife, like that's kind of when we first we're kind of living together and stuff like that. I was playing these games, and I think even maybe before that, but so she was kind of into them too. Like we played them
Mm-hmm.
together, or
Yeah,
kind of,
it's a good game. That's the
yeah,
thing that people don't understand. It's actually a fun like action platformer,
100%.
and it's the unfortunately it was the gimmick of having to get the figures, which just eventually bankrupted the players.
Yeah, and it didn't help that you had Disney Infinity, Lego
Mm-hmm.
Dimensions, and Skylanders hitting, and the figures just kept getting more complex, and they started
Absolutely.
gouging for more money. And I said the sad thing about it is nobody survived.
No,
That like you could argue Amiibo is still around, but they're to me not like a toys to life game.
it's
You
a
don't.
collector's. It's a
It's
collector's item that
collectors
does something.
that
Yeah,
unlock. It's like physical
yeah.
DLC rather than a toy to
There was
life.
never an amiibo game except for
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
Animal Crossing one, right? Was that the only one?
Yeah, that I don't count that. Uh,
Yeah.
Even though I played that probably more than most people. Um, and don't get me started on that one.
Regrets.
But yeah, so, like nobody survived. Like you would think one of those games would come out victorious, whether it was in Infinity or Lego or Skylanders or something. Someone should still be around, but
No.
they all died like at the
And
same
Starlink
time.
came late to the party, and that just was like, oh,
Crazy,
wow. No.
crazy. Yeah.
And
So
Nintendo even got into Skylanders, so they had like specific Skylanders
yeah, yeah.
for what, Superchargers?
I think that was Superchargers. They
Yeah.
had Donkey Kong
Yeah.
and Bowser,
Yeah.
and that was like I said. I skipped that one. I was very tempted to get that because those ones doubled as amiibo.
Yes.
There's a switch or something like that. You could
Yeah.
flip
So
and
weird.
change them to amiibo. So, but I at that point I was just like, no, I'm out. I'm out. I gotta bow out. I gotta stop. And it was just yeah, too much. But uh, going back to this one, I'm not. Obviously, you can't get the figures everywhere anymore.
No.
You can't. They're hard to find. I'm not gonna go on eBay and like start to unlock the different. Um, what do they call it? Senseis or something like that. I got the 2 that came with the game. I'm gonna play it for a little bit. I'm gonna get my $10 worth. I probably already did because it made me very happy the other night just playing it and playing with the dumb little figures, and that's going to be it. So this game gave me exactly what I needed it when I needed it, and I'm going to play it a little bit more and just be happy without just. There's a theme you can say dumb fun again between destroy all humans and
I love
this.
dumb
I'm
fun.
just don't give me a complex story. Just give me something stupid and mindless to make me happy.
Love it. I love it. There's going to be like a resurgence of Skylanders. Like, I think it was
Yeah.
Disney Infinity on PC. They released a version where everything was unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to go back and do that with these games. Unlock everything. No toys. Just enjoy the game. And I think people would really love it because that was just a big barrier.
I could even see them doing something similar to what oh shoot, what's the Star Fox one? You just said the name and I'm
Starlink.
completely Starlink. Jesus. That'll show you where my you literally said it 30 seconds ago and it skipped my brain. I could see them doing something similar to that where they
Mm-hmm.
do toys to life if you want it, but
They had a
you could
digital
also
version, right?
just do digital, yeah, and get the
Yeah.
deluxe version on sale, or buy a package online or something like that.
Hmm.
I could see them doing something like that and making it work with Skylanders. Like,
Expansions. Yeah. Yeah.
there's no reason why you can't buy a base game. It comes with a few characters unlocked, and then you pay DLC just like you do in Fortnite. If you want to play the game, or you whatever,
Absolutely.
you do that. And if not, then as long as it's reasonably priced, I think people would be on board with a new Skylanders game, like, or even a remake of the original one or something at this point. Like, I think there's nostalgia for that, and a new crew, coming up that would enjoy that game. So, because like you said, they're solid kind of platformer adventure games. They're
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah.
They're just, they're fun to play. So that's Skylanders. That's basically all I've been playing. I did read the Fortnite comic finale.
Nice.
They left it kind of open ended. The Batman crossover. It was entertaining, and it was a better Batman story than it had any right to be as a like
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
freaking Fortnite crossover comic. I expected it to be fluff. Honest to, like, I ordered them all from my local comic shop, just basically for the Fortnite items, and ended up really enjoying, like, the characterization of Batman, and how they started with him not being able to talk, and then kind of, being a badass is ingrained in him, and how it all kind of finished out, and different worlds colliding, the Snake Eyes battle. Just, it was ridiculous, but, like, it was actually a fairly decent, like, characterization of Batman. So if you have it, it was DC Unlimited. Is that what the
DC
service is
Unlimited,
called?
yeah, that was a very surprising thing that it was free to DC Unlimited members. So essentially, what you probably paid, what, $4 or $5 for a
Yeah.
physical issue, I got it for free with my subscription, which is $7 a month. So, and I got it free every month. So I
Wild.
saved the money. You got to read it, and I got to share the code with your nephew. So
Yeah.
everybody made out
Yeah.
like a bandit. Yeah.
Yeah, he said thank you so much for the,
Oh,
the the codes. I was playing with him last night. He was using the Batman skin that he unlocked
perfect. Love
from
it.
from all six codes. Will unlock an item each week, but then at the end of it, you get a Batman skin. And in the comic, that Batman skin is actually a doppelganger. So
Ah,
Fortnite,
okay.
basically, when Batman escaped Fortnite, it kind of copied his code and left a version of Batman in the game, while the real
Mm.
Batman escaped back to Gotham. But at one point, he had to go back into Fortnite for a second to rescue Harley Quinn. Spoilers for the nobody that's gonna read this after hearing about it. But yeah, so he basically, Batman fought Batman, and Catwoman fought Catwoman, and it was again, just ridiculous, but fun. So the Batman that you unlock is actually doppelganger Batman, which I thought was kind of neat.
Very cool. You know, short sleeve Batman, nothing cooler.
That's it. That's it. Batman.
We're
He's a chunky boy in
yeah,
Fortnite. Uh,
absolutely.
so anyway, you've been playing some other stuff. So let's hear about what you're rocking.
Yeah. Well, my mom finally got to visit us after, God, 20 months. I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah,
So it was awesome to see
that's
my
amazing.
mom. It's been too long. When she came out, we had a great time. Got to actually get away with my wife for a couple of days, which we hadn't done in forever because we don't have family in the area. And, leaving a teenage boy by himself is a disaster waiting to happen. So this was perfect. Worked out pretty well. But what we did do is, because my mom's an avid golfer, is we played Mario Golf, the new one,
That's
the
cool.
Mario Super Rush. I can't remember, Golf Rush, whatever it's called, the new one on Switch. And I know people have complained about a lot of the pieces of the game, but the mechanics are solid, and there are not a lot of courses available unless you actually play the single player game.
Mm.
You can't unlock anything. There's only 2 courses unless you unlock the single player game, which takes some time. And people have essentially says it's not the single player RPG mode that people had got on the previous games. Like, I think it was the Game Boy Advance version, maybe the 3DS. This one's more like a
Going back to the
glorified
Game Boy
tutorial.
Color, it was
Yeah.
like a deep RPG story. Like, even back in those, like, the Game Boy Color days, it was
Yeah.
The Mario Golf series has been, yeah, your RPG working your way up to the course champion with Mario characters
Mhm.
around you, but you're playing as someone else. So as someone who's been playing since those days, I expected, you hear a Mario Golf game, you think this deep golf RPG kind of thing. So I I understand where those people are coming from, but yeah, continue on with
Yeah,
what this game actually is.
my son actually has been enjoying the game, and he's been playing the single player game. So I think he likes it more than other people do because it's his first one. But it's more like a glorified tutorial, not necessarily more like an RPG, that type of thing, like Golf Story. So it is what it is. We've been playing primarily just the standard mode. With motion controls with my mom. My mom's an avid golfer, and we had a blast. Just playing around with it, making mistakes, like thinking you're lined up and you actually hit the ball and you're like, oh crap. And it's just fun. I mean, and it's just really I think Nintendo realizes what they wanted to do. They're going to scratch more itches with the main audience of Switch versus the hardcore. And it's giving them what they want. Now, what they need to do is they need to really make it even better for non-hardcore audiences is do some things that make playing together online easier. So you don't have to set up appointments. I know in the past they've had like this asymmetric tournaments where you could just play when you want to play. And then somebody else plays, and it just happens as it goes. That's not there yet. There's no online tournaments either. So it's really you play online together, but you don't get a way to make up tournaments. So, and hopefully they will add those updates over time. But they've been notorious for like a Mario Party game. They left it kind of lying there for 3 years and finally updated it. So I'm hoping they won't do that because to me that's just, let's put it this way, it's kind of lazy. And it's kind of like, well, we don't have to do anything because people will buy it. And I hate that attitude. And it's like the syndrome where you're held hostage or something, and you start feeling sorry for your hostage takers. And I'm like, no, guys, come on, demand better because we'll all enjoy it, the effects of the game. But as what it is, I think it's a lot of fun. I bought it actually from GameFly.
Wow.
Pro tip: GameFly, when you rent a game, they discount it, and then you can buy it. And then they'll send you all the packaging. So it's a great deal to try something. It's like a demo for a Nintendo game that doesn't know. Got it. And so I saved quite a bit. So I ended up paying $30 for it.
Gee, that's not bad.
Yeah. No, it's not. If you get a chance in GameFly, you can buy games from GameFly anytime, Mark. And it comes in, the packaging's pristine because it's only been opened once to open up the game and they keep it. They'll send it. So if anybody wants to buy games, GameFly is an excellent way to do it. So I highly recommend that.
Interesting. Yeah.
GameFly, please sponsor us. I'm a big GameFly fan.
You pitch it pretty much every episode.
I think so. I think I need to approach them and say, hey, can we get a code or something to give away? That'd be fantastic. So I will look into that. So yeah, Mario Golf, highly recommend it for what it is, but maybe not what you want if you're only going to play it single player.
With everything going on, I still haven't picked that up. And I know Skyward Sword is releasing, I think.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah. So a couple of days after recording. I don't know. I gotta figure out. I gotta get a new Nintendo game. I don't know.
Mojo back, Mark.
I've been missing out. So maybe I'll grab golf first because I'm not super in a rush to replay Zelda right now. So
you said rush, and I forgot about the rush mode. That's the only mode I haven't played yet, but that's supposed to be very fun. It's pretty much like if you've seen that TikTok video with the two guys just running through a course and playing golf really fast. It's the same thing, but then you get super power-ups. So that is also in the game. So eventually I will try it out with Logan, but he said it's not very fun. But oh well, maybe that kid has no sense of humor. Lastly, though, I finally got around to playing Inside, Mark. I've never played the game. I played Limbo before, fell off of that, but I understood it was a really cool game. Inside is their follow-up. I think it's Playdead is the name of the studio. This was first an Xbox exclusive, then it went to other platforms. I think it's on Game Pass. Right. But I got it for free on Epic Game Store. So I played it on PC with a controller, and this game is a side-scrolling puzzle platformer is the best way to describe it. This game is weird. It has such a weird mode and mood to it that basically you're a little boy trying to just survive. You have no clue what you're trying to survive from, but you're only going to the right. That's really where you need to go. You've got things chasing you. You got evil dogs that will eat you. And that's one of the big things about this game. When you die brutally. Like the dogs, you see them rip your throat out, which is gross. There's one level where these like sound waves are blasting across the level, and you have to get so far enough and then hide and get cover. Because if you don't get cover, the sound waves destroy your body. It's like you're ripped apart by sound waves. It's so gross. I'm like, ugh.
Lovely.
If you can get past that, though, the game is very. It just tells a story without any words or anything. It has no narrative that you don't have one line of dialogue. You just have tension and what you see and what you experience. It's about a 3-hour game, and I couldn't put it down, so I just kept on playing the game. But I will say this. The ending of the game is so different than what I would have expected. I just didn't even know what to say. It was like, and by all means, if you have no intention of playing this game, I would say watch some videos, and then eventually, when you get a feel for the game, watch the ending of the game. Because it will blow your mind. You'll be like, what the hell just happened? Because that's what I did. I'm like, and I'd heard about it, and I'm like, no way, this isn't going to happen. And it happened. So it's unnerving in a David Cronenberg type of way. If you're familiar with David Cronenberg, he plays with like body horror and like science fiction ways. It's very much akin to that. So if you don't have the appetite for those type of weird imagery, stay away from the game. But if you're curious, it's well worth playing because it is, yeah.
So some bad news. Limbo is on Game Pass. Inside is not. So
it's not. That's surprising.
You must purchase or hopefully get this game free like Todd did.
Well, I'm sure I sold about 30 copies when I described it, Mark.
Yes, exactly. I remember the first time I played Limbo, and I haven't played Inside, but the first time playing Limbo, same kind of thing. The first, you're walking, you think it's like, okay, cool, yeah, it kind of looks like I'm a kid. Everything's kind of shadowed. It's like, yeah, I can figure this out. And then like some giant spider monster stabs you through the skull, and you watch it happen, and you're just like, oh, this is what the hell? What did I watch?
What game is this?
The rest of the game is just unnerving. So this sounds like the same kind of thing. So if you like Limbo, sounds like a good game to check out.
It's a better game than Limbo, though. I would say I did not fall off this game at all. I felt like all the puzzles made sense. It challenged me at times, but I felt like it didn't have that dissonance of like, is it me doing it wrong or is it just the mechanics off? Mm-hmm. And this felt like, nope, the mechanics are right. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Braid. Braid was a game I really tried to love, but I'm like, I felt like I was fighting the mechanics of that game. I'm like, I understand what they're trying to do, but it doesn't always work right. So, this is a thinking man's game, but it's not too difficult. So I definitely encourage you if you have a curiosity for something that's going to be a little unnerving, but definitely satisfying. Until the end, which just left me puzzled. I'm like, I don't know what to think. Oh, well.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. Well, that is it for what we've been playing, folks. I've been playing more, but I figured I would just down the main ones. But we'll get into some news stories really quick because we actually had a couple big things actually happen for most of the key players. And I would say one of them was the most enjoyable. And we'll let you guys decide which one of those news stories is most enjoyable at the end. But the first one was Sony had its State of Play. This was last Thursday. And I've got to admit, I actually didn't watch it in real time. And I cannot say that they didn't deliver on what they said they were going to do, but they didn't surprise me at all. And it didn't feel like this was a must-see event. It felt like I could watch it later, and it kind of delivered on that moment. Mm-hmm. The only surprise, really, I think a lot of people would say would be the fact that Moss Book 2 was announced, which in a way, this is a big PlayStation VR game, very well lauded, and then eventually came to other platforms. But the weird part is right now we are kind of in a limbo state with PlayStation VR because we're supposed to be getting a new one. And I don't think they're actually selling any new PlayStation VR sets. So it's kind of capped for the audience.
Yeah.
This is for the hardcore, but there's no really indication of, will this come to PlayStation VR 2? Will you get an upgrade? Will it just be, there's still a lot of unknowns. So it's kind of unsatisfying. But if you are a fan of Moss Book 1, which I own Moss Book 1, I think, on Quest, and I want to play it, it's really not for anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of thanks for sticking with us. Here you go, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at least they didn't abandon it like a lot of other platforms where you get nothing left over. Like, I think of like the Wii, like year 6, where it was like there's nothing there, or Wii U, like year 4. It's like I'm waiting for Breath of the Wild. 12 years. Exactly, or even like Xbox 360, where they're like, we're cutting over, or no, it was Xbox, the original Xbox. We're cutting over to Xbox 360 because it's dead. So at least there's that. But yeah, kind of went with a fart. And then if there's any of these announcements, Mark, that you were interested, let me know. But Arcade-Ageddon get announced, and that's kind of like a multiplayer shooter that is a full-priced game. And I'm just like, I don't know who that's for.
It's a tough sell, man. Yeah. We, we said this. What was the game we were talking about a few weeks ago? We said the same thing. Like in a world where Fortnite exists and yeah, Call of Duty Warzone and whatever else that's going free, like can you sell a multiplayer game?
Battlefront 2042, isn't that what it was?
Battlefront
Yeah.
that we were talking about, but we also I think we said that the dodgeball game they were gonna
Oh yeah,
sell that
Knockout
at
City, 20
first, Knockout
bucks.
City,
Yeah,
right? Like, but I thought that was and then they kind of switched. Then they said, what, we are going to do this for free up into a certain level,
sure.
unless you have Game Pass, blah blah blah, blah. And I think that kind of worked for them because Knockout City got a lot of attention and kind of
Hmm.
stuck around for a bit. But that approach is worrisome. So best of luck to them, but I would not have a ton of faith in that if that was my
Yeah,
product. I'd be like, oh guys, can we think of something different?
good luck. Yeah,
Different
and I
thing.
don't know if this is going to be stuck only on PlayStation or if it will be on PC. But yeah, at this point, it's like it's very hard to do that, especially if you have a small audience, and the fact that they're for a paying for an early access too. Like, give us the early access for free, and if you
Mm-hmm.
like it, then maybe we'll pay. But yeah, it's a tough sale.
Yeah, I mean, we even like, yeah, I don't know what some developers are thinking. Like single
No,
platform, paid early access. It sounds like it's just DOA. Yeah, I don't know, man.
this seems like the perfect game that should have been like on PS Plus, like for
Yeah,
free.
I was just thinking
Yep,
like
give it away
even
to
in
people.
Fall Guys or something got a ton of attention because it
Yeah,
was PS Plus.
absolutely.
That has since died off, and I think they should have released that on other platforms earlier to kind of keep that buzz
Sure.
going and
Yep.
whatever. But at least they kind of got it there, and hopefully it can kind of come back when it hits other platforms. But like, I don't know who this is for. Who they like they've got to have a hell of a
It's
trailer.
a hard nut to crack. Yeah, I mean, it's not a realistic shooter. It's very fun, but we've got Fortnite in that region, so it's like yeah, it's really hard to play in this space, and I think really need more people doing what like Knockout City did versus things like this because it's like I don't know who the audience is. Next, we got new Tribes of Midgard post launch content was revealed. This is a game when I saw the trailer for it, I'm like, it looks like kind of like a Diablo like multiplayer
Mm-hmm.
game, but I just didn't feel the what makes it feel special. And I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe a fun game. It looks like the combat's decent, but it's that Diablo isometric combat with multiple players. I
It's a
just
wait for review
don't.
game because
It definitely
it
is. Yeah.
looks like it
What's the
could be
hook?
good, but like what's why invest? So
It
I
looks like
get
a
it.
Game Pass
Like I said,
game. It really does. It does. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
The the next game though was called Arena Legends, coming to PS4, PS5, maybe something else. This game just first I'm like when I heard about it, I'm like I don't know about this game, but then I watched it. It's a first it's basically an action combat game. It's all melee based. It's both PvE and PvP. It's got like an Asian setting with monsters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It says it combines RPG, MOBA, and many other genres, which I'm like, come on, guys, do we need everything under the sun? But when I actually watch the gameplay, it looks pretty impressive, at least
Mm-hmm.
from what they're going for from a melee type combat game, which I think that's in the what is that Ubisoft game? Is it For Honor?
Yeah. With
It's kind of
the
like
different
that. It's a little
classes.
bit more, a little bit less
Yeah.
realistic, I guess. Yeah, yeah. So I don't. Once
It'd be
again, I
fun.
don't know though. I hope this is free again. I hope this game has to be free because I just don't see people paying for multiple multiplayer games like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to check it out?
Not the whole thing. I watched bits and
Okay.
pieces or different like individual trailers of games of people. So that was one that I actually missed, sadly. So it does
Okay.
sound interesting from what you're saying, though. But yeah, sadly, it's not a good sign. Like what you're saying, like it may maybe take this one free or something because if I didn't see a trailer, it means I didn't hear people gushing about it
Yeah.
and or talking about it a lot. So I didn't go out of my way to check out a trailer. So kind of rough. I don't know. Maybe it's just my listening group, but I listen to a few PlayStation ish kind of podcasts or PlayStation adjacent or whatever. And yeah, that's
This was the PlayStation Apologist show real for real, because I'm like, I came out, I'm like, I don't know, this isn't getting me excited. I was kind of underwhelmed. So,
Mhm.
but others people are like, oh, it showed everything. I'm like, this didn't do much for most people. Really quickly, Fist Forged in Shadow Torch. If you like rabbits in a Metroidvania with a big arm, this
Yep.
one's for you. Actually,
Yep.
this one looks fun.
Looked. I did see the trailer for that. It looks weird. I like Metroidvania rabbits, giant weird mech, giant arms. Sure.
Let's go. Then we've got Sifu. I've already talked about Sifu. Basically,
Yeah.
this is a die and you age, but you advance your skills as a martial artist. Kind of like what was it? Not Watch Dogs. God, that game from like the 360 area where it was a John Woo type action combat game. Sleeping Dogs. That's
Okay.
what it
I
was.
never played that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very fun, but it was a lot of melee combat and things like this. This is the same mode, but you age and eventually you will age and die, and that your adventure ends. But it just you age, you look like it in a lot of melee combat, very much like a John Woo melee action game.
Yeah.
I'm really into this. It got delayed to 2022 though.
Okay.
Yeah. Jet the Far Shore. This game looks like a No Man's Sky exploration game. No combat. By the guys who made the Super Brothers. They made, what is it? The game on iPhone where Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery. So this is kind of like their next step forward.
Okay.
Yeah, this one looks a little bit different. Like I said, a little bit more like No Man's Sky, and it's all about traversal in a ship.
Yep. Yeah. Could be neat. I have faith in that team, so that's cool.
Yeah, it could be cool. And then my son is a big fan of Demon Slayer, the anime. They have their game coming out. This is an anime combat game. If you like that series, I think you'll like this. It looks true to its nature. But my son even said, I don't know about that. So if he can't get into it, maybe I can't either. And I probably won't. Then lastly, well, not lastly, but Lost Judgment. I'm interested in this game. It's the sequel to Judgment, which I talked about in this podcast before. It's Yakuza, but with real-time combat.
Yep. And that's free next gen upgrade?
Yes, it is. Versus Judgment did not give you that option.
Right.
So I'm glad they're changing that. Yeah. Death Stranding's director's cut, which is not really a director's cut. Thank you, Kojima, for telling us that. It's really like a definitive edition where now they're adding in a cargo catapult, new story missions, a racing mode, a firing range, all these weird things. You can hide in a box. Yeah. Who knows?
So I know I said it last time, but it wasn't the whole point of him going out and starting his own studio, the fact that he didn't have to answer to anyone and didn't have to do anything. And then he comes out today and he's like, I don't like that they're calling it director's cut, but it's like, you name the friggin' thing. Like, who, if it's not you, who named it director's cut? Like,
might be Sony. Yeah. Sony's doing the same thing with the Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, it's dumb. They should just not do that. Don't go down the road. Call it definitive edition. Call it whatever you want. The extra edition.
He had final say over things. I don't like it. Just
That's probably why he's going to Xbox for his next game, Mark. Who knows?
That I just the whole. Anyway. Yep. Deathloop.
Yes. Yep. And then Deathloop, we got 9 minutes of that. This game's coming out September. I think you're either in or out of this game. They've shown a lot of it. I don't think we need to see more of it because I think you're in or out. If you like arcane games, I think you'll be into this, but not enough people like arcane games. I just can't get into arcane games. I really tried.
Yeah, it's this would be 100% like I'd check it out on Game Pass, but it's I think with everything going on with Xbox buying Bethesda, PlayStation having this as a console exclusive for, I think they said a year.
A year, yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm just not hearing the hype for Sony having this as an exclusive anymore. It's like, you know what? We'll wait the year and have it on Game Pass and like whatever. Sony, like no one cares anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a try. I definitely will probably get through Game Pass or whatever. Or sorry, through GameFly. GameFly, thank you for your support. And I'll try it out because it's going to be a weird time travel loop where you've got to kill an assassin and do those missions. It's kind of got a weird like 1950s, 60s aesthetic with like spies. It sounds cool. I like their worlds, but the gameplay just has never linked me. So that's what I need with games. It's gameplay. But we'll move on to something that I think goes back to what you talked about, Mark, with humans, Destroy All Humans, which was if the Switch performed better, the game might have performed better. Mm-hmm. And we got an announcement about a new Switch, but it is not fixing that issue.
It's not, no. So as most people I think listening to this will know, the Switch OLED model, which could anyone have predicted that name? Everyone thought it was going to be Super Switch, Switch XL, Switch Plus, Switch Pro,
the new Switch,
new Nintendo Switch XL Plus, whatever. But like just straight up, just being like, nah, it's just the OLED model. What are you calling it? OLED model. Like, wow, thanks Nintendo. I mean, there's no confusion there, I guess, but the marketing team definitely kind of called it in that day. Anyway, so the Switch OLED model is just that. It's I'll say new Switch model, but it's basically an OLED screen, a better kickstand, apparently better speakers.
Forward firing, I guess, versus backwards firing.
Exactly, yeah. So better projection on the speakers for sure. But aside from that, yeah, none of the real, I want to say, internal upgrades that a lot of us were hoping for. And that's not happening. That's not saying that a Switch Pro is still not in the works, but we've been talking for a while now that you look at Switch sales, they don't need that Pro to boost their sales. But something like this might sell a few more through the holidays, through the summer, whatever, or I guess it's not coming out through the summer. So it's coming out in October. So through the holidays, through the winter. And then, maybe give us another year until an actual Switch Pro, or another 2 years until an actual Switch Pro. So it's still going to be 720 handheld. It's still going to be 1080 on there's nothing different on the inside of this that anyone has been able to suss out of Nintendo. Nintendo's been basically like, yeah, no, it's the same Switch, just a slightly nicer screen. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little nicer. OLED should give it kind of deeper blacks and stuff. No burn in. But that's it, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Mark, you forgot the LAN in the dock.
Right, because why not spend $450 on a new system, or I think they're selling the dock for $90 or $100 when you could spend $12 on a USB LAN adapter that I currently have plugged into my Switch that works perfectly. The problem I have with that is they're talking about that like it's a fantastic feature to have built into the Switch, when one, should have been built in from day one. Two, most of their online games suck even with that in there. It's great for games like Fortnite and a few things where the online infrastructure is solid already. Fortnite, Rocket League, any of those games that aren't Nintendo games. But Nintendo, for the most part, does not have their online infrastructure in any place that it should be in this day and age. So you're still going to get lag if Nintendo's servers are horse crap, and most of them are. So no, it doesn't matter. I've played Smash Brothers on 2 plugged in connections, end to end, plugged in. Mine's plugged into a fiber connection. I know the person I was playing with was plugged into a high speed connection. Not 100% sure what the speed was, but I was guaranteed that it was a high speed connection. It still was like playing at 2 frames per second. We basically ended up FaceTime calling each other and saying, like, this is unplayable. Thanks.
Oh,
like, it's not going to solve bad internet infrastructure. Like, it's not a solution to anything. And again, buy it for $12 on Amazon and plug it into your current Switch. Problem solved. If that's actually something you're concerned about, and it does help. If you're playing games like Fortnite, Rocket League, those games, like I said, awesome, do it. But I don't know. If my Switch breaks, this will be the one I get, but I'm not rushing out for an upgrade.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because a lot of people have talked about the OLED is going to be a great screen. I will say this. Most OLEDs, though, that most people are familiar with, are tied to really good hardware, like the LGs. It is HDR, all of these things that really bring it to life.
Mm-hmm.
The Switch is just not great hardware. Like the OLED is on Apple, like higher end Apple products, Samsung products, where you've got hardware to make it come to life.
Mm-hmm.
This is still going to make your bad resolution not look better. It's going to make the colors look better, but beyond that, nobody said the Switch wasn't colorful enough to begin with. So to me, it's like it's not answering a question anybody cared about.
And the resolution's going to look worse because it's a bigger screen.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
anytime you take something,
if you Pixel Destiny. Yeah.
If you thought the Switch, if you think the Switch right now, if you think there's a game that looks bad on the Switch, all you're doing is blowing it up. Like you just said, the pixel density is getting bigger, which take a low resolution image on your phone or your computer or something, and then just enlarge it, and it doesn't look better. If you shrink it down, it looks better, but that's just physics.
Yeah.
It's it's not solving any problems. But you know what? If you're excited about this, awesome. If you're ready for a new Switch, if you're one of the 4 people in the world that don't have a Switch at this point because it's sold such a ridiculous number, especially in the last year. But like, I know people that are still looking for Switches that haven't been able to get them, that they just wanted to get one this year. This is a fantastic option. I'm not going to say it's not. If you're looking for a new Switch, like I said, if mine breaks, I've had my Switch since it launched. If mine breaks in October, I'll be happy to get this one. 100%. It's a worthwhile upgrade, but I'm not. It's not one of those upgrades that's going to be like, oh yeah, I 100% need this day one. For me, anyway. I don't know.
It's a profit play, really, because I know Nintendo apparently bought these screens, these low-res screens from Samsung, and I got a great deal on it. So, and at this point, they haven't changed the chipset, so their profit is going out of the sky. And typically, when you see upgrades like these, where that's like almost halfway through its life, we saw like the last one I thought of was like the Xbox One S. The Xbox One S was cheaper and a better system, had a 4K Blu-ray drive, performed better, was quieter, did all these things. Nintendo did the opposite. We're going to give you something a little bit slightly better, but we're not going to improve the ergonomics. And they already have a handheld system that's cheaper and easier to get. So really, to your point, Mark, if you do not have a Switch yet, you've waited, and you want to pay more than the current model you might be able to get, I guess this is for you. But yeah, I'm just waiting till my original Switch. I hope it doesn't die. I just want it to last, because at this point, I don't play it enough that I'm like, what's the rationale? I mean, I guess it would be Breath of the Wild 2 or something that I've got to play. So I really just feel frustrated that, once again, we talk about Nintendo doing the least amount for the most amount of profit. And this is kind of in their wheelhouse. So I think I lost my bet, Mark, because I said we're getting a new Switch for Breath of the Wild 2 launch in March. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And I think we're not actually going to get a Switch Pro. I think we're just going to limp along until we get Switch 2 in 2023.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's I think it's going to be difficult to determine what is Switch Pro and what is Switch 2. And maybe we'll have an episode where we determine that, because I don't want to get into that right now. But I think Bobby always said this, the Nintendo guru always said that he thinks the Switch is kind of Nintendo's end game. This is a 20-year product. This isn't a generation. This is their form factor. You look at the Game Boy line, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, even where, because Game Boy Advance could play the old Game Boy games. Even the Nintendo DS could play the Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games. So if you look at that kind of a continuation and that kind of a legacy, yes, there were new games that couldn't play on the old hardware, but the old hardware could play on the new stuff. So like that was one hell of a long lifespan. Even if you look at just the DS, so you have the Nintendo DS, then DS Lite, DS XL, 3DS, blah, 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 like that. These are concepts, I'll say design concepts that had a ridiculously long shelf life. And I think he was really, really right with that, where this is Nintendo's concept. So it's going to be tough when they make a distinction of, is this going to be a 3DS, like a DS to 3DS kind of jump? where there's going to be a clear, like, you can only play this game on this new hardware, or is it going to be a different? I think, yeah, let's save that for a future episode, because I think that's going to be an interesting conversation of what defines a Switch 2 versus a Switch Pro.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think it would be very hard for Nintendo to say your old games won't work, especially
Right.
how much people put into it, because that would be hard selling, saying why you can't, because, oh, maybe it's the Joy-Con restriction. But when I'm like, you know what? I hate that. That would make me hate the Joy-Cons even more.
Yeah.
Oh, well, know about that. But we're going to end the news stories with one that was a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
kids, do you like nostalgia for the 90s? Bad-looking clothes, even worse, like pop music? Well, you know what? We've got something for you. All for One is back, and they've made a deal with Xbox to basically remix their song. What was it? I Swear. And they have made it all about the All Access program. It's all there.
Oh,
and when I watched
so
this,
good.
it made a music video. They rechanged the song. They had a girl who was in love with her Xbox One from the beginning, and she's having dinner with it, playing games. And then one day she realizes it's just not enough anymore, Mark. She finds love with a better person, better console that appreciates what she does, and it's affordable. And then now it's a long-term relationship for 2 years with Xbox Game Pass and an Xbox Series S.
It's absolutely love this Xbox All Access. It's, yeah, like you said, you get the Game Pass, you get the Series X or the Series S, and I thought this was so fantastic. They send out some awesome press kits with like neon jackets, and the box is shaped like a boombox. I absolutely
McLaughlin got one, I believe, and he did a little really some fun stuff with it.
His photo shoot was amazing. And it was funny, the day he got that and he did the photo shoot, my son was wearing, I swear, like the exact same shorts. Like he had these bright neon kind of shorts. And when I was getting Finn dressed in the morning, I was like, these shorts look straight out of the 90s, dude, but you're rocking them with your little dinosaur shirt and your neon shorts. And then I log on to social media and I see Brock posting these on Twitter, I think is where I first saw them, but he posted them on Instagram too. And I was like, this is fantastic. And Finn's wearing the same shorts, but like it was so good. Like this whole campaign has just been a knockout, and I love it. I want them to just keep doing wacky stuff like this. This is awesome.
Did you see the other one they did where it was they used oh god, the band, look at this photograph, Nickelback, and they took it, but they said basically, look at this console playing with another console's controller, and it showed the DualShock 4 playing xCloud, and they made fun of Nickelback. It was great.
Okay.
But Nickelback singing it. They just used the lyrics, and
All right.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. After watching the video, I realized, I'm like, we've got the two guys singing, and the other two guys are just hanging out in the background doing nothing. Did they actually ever sing in this video?
I don't know.
It was weird. I'm like, are they just like hype man? Are they dancers?
Just a little background, like but that again, that was so 90s R&B. They'd have these groups, and a lot of times
who could sing
songs. Well, or one was a producer, but he was still in the video, or one was the rapper, but for a non-rap song, like he just kind of stood there, like just kind of vibing.
One that's like 55 years old.
Like it doesn't matter, right? Like they were always in every music video. It didn't matter if it was R&B, pop, whatever it was. Like you'd get that there was just the person in the band that for that song he had to sit out and it was just vibing. And it did, like even you'd get bands like Linkin Park or something that would release a song and it'd be like, Mike was just kind of sitting there because this is a non-rapping song. And he'd like do something and just kind of like be hanging out. There's like, it was just all just perfect for me. Even that, like, even if they had nothing to do in this video, like 100%, that was the 90s.
Mark, you got to get on that Xbox Canada bandwagon, man. They're getting all the sweet swag. We got to hype you up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Xbox Canada. This, I love you. So we, I think
I
we
do
talked
too, and
about
I'm not
Game
even there.
Pass. Game Pass more than anything. Especially, we'll just send them the episode with Joe where we give 17 Game Pass plugs in the first 5 minutes.
Well, if we eventually do what I have planned, Mark, we will be working with Xbox in a way. Well, that is it for the news round, folks. If you have any requests for news stories you want us to cover in the future, let us know, and we will give our 2 cents. Or if you have questions for us, definitely let us know. But now we're in the bonus round. So, Mark, you kicked off the fact that you were playing a game that really got you through a tough spot. Because sometimes you just need something to take your mind off things when the world's kicking you in the nuts. And that's what's great about games. Sometimes you have a game that puts you in a mood. Maybe it gets you through a tough time. And I think we've all had that. And so, in just the sense of it, you asked the world what were their comfort games and their good mood games. So we had a couple of responses.
Yeah, so I put this out. I think I said at the start of the show on both Twitter and Discord. So I'll look at the Twitter responses and maybe you can grab a few off of Discord because I know we had some results on both. So my wife right before we started recording, she said, "Oh right, I have to respond." We were sitting on the couch together.
I have to.
She said, "I said you don't have to. I'm going to read these on the show." And she said, "Absolutely, I'm going to do a big run-on sentence and make fun of you." So this is her response that I promised I'd read on air. She said, "Any game that we can play together. I like playing games that we can work together on and laugh, or games where I can beat you. Haha." I added the haha, but as she was writing it, she actually did a haha. And then she added, "Because then I'm not sad anymore and I'm great instead." So she was very happy, and she does. She likes either like the Lego games that we can just kind of turn our brains off and play those together and work towards something, and she can just Hulk smash her way through things, or she likes kicking my ass at Mario Party or something. So either one, she's just usually generally happy when we're working together, or she's beating me senseless in a game. Only in a game though, folks. Take it to the streets, or don't take it to the streets. Take it to
Don't take the streets.
virtual things. There anyway.
Dojo.
Joel, aka Falcon, came in with a few. So he said, "I have a few go-to games: Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, Tetris 99, Donkey Kong Country 1 or 2 for SNES, and Super Mario World. Also, I promise I'm not sad all the time, even though my list is long." I get it. I like having a few games, like just for comfort food. If it doesn't have to be a devastating kind of like, I lost my dog kind of situation, to be able to be like, you know what, today was kind of a crap day. I'm gonna go play Super Mario World, and that is one of my go-tos. Super Mario World every single time, or Super Mario Brothers 1. Every single time makes me happy. I will very likely break one or both of those out this week, and just didn't happen in the last couple of days because Skylanders happened instead, and Destroy All Humans for the review, to make sure I played enough of that to talk about it in a good way. That is 100% one of. I thought this one was a good response though, because he had a mix of new games and old games, and I do like being able to play some happy, bright new games, but a lot of time I do find myself going back to older games because it's like, this reminds me of when I was a kid and I had nothing to care about, and I can play Pokemon or Super Mario Brothers or whatever. So I liked that response. And the one of the best names on Twitter and most descriptive names on Twitter came in with the results. So this is from Chris Wants NHL 94 Rewind on Nintendo Switch. You can find him at NHL 94 Rewind, and give Chris a little like. He plays Zelda 2, and you thought
Good
that was
game.
a great pick. Yep, great pick.
I do. Yes.
So that's that. So Joel, aka Falcon, Loren, and Chris, thank you very much for the Twitter responses. That all great choices. All whatever makes you happy is awesome, and that's basically what we wanted to talk about. So before we jump into the Discord stuff, Todd, what what makes you happy? What do you have some go-to games?
Wow.
Let's talk.
So it's kind of funny because I have a couple of different categories. So fighting games. For some reason, fighting games are just my way to just have a good time, take my mind off things. It's pick up and you don't have to, it's not a game where you feel like you have to go back and finish it. It's just another round. With my son, it was Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Hmm.
He and I it's our way to just kind of let off some steam. And no matter what's going on, if we got mad at each other, we can go and take it out on the course. And I'll be some dumb character like Rob the Robot, and he'll get mad at me, and he'll play like somebody that's too good. And I basically become a troll, but a bad troll. Like, oh, look at you so good, and look at me so bad, and and that's what it's all about. Just ways to just be dumb and stupid, take your mind off things. I just enjoy that a lot, and when it's that with Logan, and then for myself, I'm a huge Tekken fan. It's the reason why I got the original PlayStation 1. I love playing Tekken. I love just going back to my old favorites and just seeing if I've still got it, and just seeing how far I can get, and then watching the stupid cutscenes at the end. I love it when you've got the dinosaur that you fight with, the king guy, Tiger King or whatever his name. Not Tiger King. That was a different thing. But I just love it. I just love fighting games. They just make me happy. I'm not good at them, but they are just mindless violence, especially the Mortal Kombat games. I love those. So those take my mind off things when I'm having a bad day,
Mm-hmm.
and I need something to get me a good mood, is over-the-top violence, Mark. I think that's a solution to all our problems.
You know what? There's something to be said about that, because as much as like so far most of the games I've said, aside from Destroy All Humans, which is that kind of mindless destruction and stuff, but there is something to be said about that, like catharsis of like when you're having like an angry set. Like most of the last few days have just been like sad, and I needed something bright and happy to pick me up. But like sometimes you're just like pissed off at the world, and like something like Doom for me is very like just I'm not stuck in a room with demons. The demons are stuck in a room with me, and they're going to pay. And there's really something amazing about those games, and I don't know what that says about us as gamers, of like, or maybe it's a healthy escape or something. But like that's any time in the past people have talked about, oh, gamers are violent and this, that, whatever. But for me, it's getting that aggression out in a way that is just left on the screen. I can go through and kill a bunch of demons, or run through Wolfenstein and kill a bunch of mechanical Nazi things, or whatever it is. And you just leave it all in that digital kind of realm. And it's a very, very cathartic kind of feeling. So there's something to be said about those. And I think depending on the pick me up that you need, we're lucky that we have so many games to choose from, especially on Game Pass, where you can get your first 3 months for just $1 and access to over 100 high quality games. I had to get one in. But it is amazing that there's so much choice that, like I said, when it's just sad, you can play something bright and happy and just fun. When you're angry, you can work through things there. And I think it's amazing as gamers that we have that option. So, you want to jump through some of the Discord?
Oh yeah. So want to thank the folks in Discord for their comments. So Matthew Keel, aka Infinite_Rewind, great guy. We've had him on the podcast before. Matt said games that gets him through the tough times were Eco and the Shadow of Colossus helped him get through X-Ray School. The calming feeling of helping Yorda by simply holding her hand is something no game has repeated as well as that did for me. Each Colossus felt like a different milestone in learning diagnostic medical imaging, and the ultimate fate of the protagonist took on a meaning of rebirth for me as I entered a new career. I have others, but I don't want to take too much of your precious time. Thank you, Matt, for that. You're a very introspective gamer.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And then we have famous Seamus, the most Seamus of all the famouses of the... Man, I screwed that up. I can't even say the most famous of all the Seamuses. Exactly, yes.
I'm happy that COVID's opening up. I might Might get up to Halifax soon and be able to
Oh, that's
actually
fantastic. I
maybe
would love to see
see
a
Seamus.
real,
That'd be great.
yeah, a
Yeah.
real meeting in real life. I'd love to see pictures of that.
I,
Big
well, I
hugs for
posted
all
one.
of them.
There's one on Twitter I posted from a couple of years
Oh,
ago
okay.
at a local con. I met up with Seamus, waiting in line to meet. Oh shoot, someone. We were both there. As a voice actor. I can't remember his name right now.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
but met up with Seamus. It was an awesome meeting, and I'd love to do it again. I'd love to see that fantastic fellow again. So Seamus, thank you for coming. You're not too late. Obviously, we saw it as we were recording. I saw this come in on my phone, so I'm glad
Yeah.
you made it in under the wire. Sorry, Todd. Continue.
Oh, yeah. He said We Play, which I really thought was interesting because that was the game people just bought for the extra Wiimote. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I like
He
that
said, when
game,
I was younger and stressed, my dad and I would play the shooting mini game in We Play. It was one of the few games, aside from Tetris, that he can play with the whole game just being point and shoot. Super Mario Galaxy, another game I played while growing up. I played Mario Galaxy so many times that I can probably play the game blindfolded. I usually played it when I was stressed out. The game just had a calming nature to me, and I think the music in particular. The theme for Space Junk Galaxy specifically.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Miles Morales. This one is actually more recent. And then Super SMMM.
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm just torturing this. I work retail, and since I had to deal with that along with COVID, not being able to see several family members, it was nice returning home from a crazy shift to swing around New York City in one of my favorite games of 2020. I totally agree. Mark, get with it, man, and play that game.
I really need to. And that reminded me of another game. A lot of people did not like this game, but anyone that listened to co-op mode for any amount of time might remember that I had two grandparents die within a few weeks of each other, and my escape was Anthem. Very similar reasons to Miles Morales here from Seamus was I would come home and everything sucked, and I would get my suit of armor and I'd fly away. And I burned out hours of that game just flying, just cruising around and just getting away. And I'd see something, I'd land, I'd check it out. Part of it was that, again, that catharsis of just wrecking through things as this Iron Man ninja. But a lot of it was just that wrapping myself in the suit and being able to just fly away from the problems. So I totally get that swinging around and that feeling of just like, I'm just out here on my own. Nothing can touch me. I get that one, Seamus. I really feel that one.
I did want to touch on one more game that I just thought of it now because it actually takes me back. My dad passed away in 2007, and it was a rough time. And there's a game that I didn't expect it to impact me, but it definitely made me feel like I wasn't alone. And that game was Journey. Journey is all about a game where you feel like you're on your own. But as you're going through the game, you find others. And they connect with you in a nonverbal way. And for some reason, a game that's so short, no dialogue, and really no understanding of what your main quest is except going forward to finish your journey. And it just made me feel connected in a way I at that time didn't really feel connected. I felt like I was just not able to deal with what was going on, and it was hard. So in a way, it was probably the only game I've ever cried before. At the end of it, just felt like just a weight lifted off my shoulders. And that is an amazing thing that gaming can truly bring that a lot of other mediums just can't, because you're just along for the ride versus games. You're taking that journey, that step forward, that effort, like games like Celeste people have talked about, that have given them that feeling of connection or realization or making them feel like they matter. And that's awesome. So yeah, sometimes games are just distracting because they're dumb fun, but sometimes they can make you feel like you're part of something. Kind of like that's why people play games together, because you want to get away from things, but you also want to be around your friends that make you feel good and connected, especially when we can't, right? When we're miles apart. So Mark, you need to see Seamus. And the good news is I'm going to see Rich Davenport,
awesome,
a member of the Sea of Friends Unite community, actually podcast family, on Friday.
Oh, that's
So this
awesome.
is going to be a good time. Yeah, we're going to hang out and have a good time at a pinball bar.
Cool. I love pinball.
Yes.
I was just looking at an old
Yes.
pinball machine that I got when I was a kid. It's currently up in Finn's room. It's in pretty rough shape, but I might try to restore it a little bit because it's just a tiny little machine. It's
Sure.
on a
Yeah.
bookshelf right now, but I put so much time into that when I was a kid, and now it's up there. But pinball is awesome, man. That's another one that I was looking at tonight, and I was just remembering just like being in my room and playing pinball, and I loved pinball so much and still do. But like that specific one thing, I just sit on my room and just play pinball and like just whatever. It just escape into the high score. As it can be something that simple, right? It doesn't have to be a big, crazy experience. And like you said, it's so good to have all of these escapes as gamers. We're kind of blessed to have such a diverse hobby. So thank you everyone for sharing those.
Absolutely.
They're helping me this week hearing everyone's stories about whether it's just reaching out and saying, like I said before, we experienced the same thing, or just sharing these games. This is great. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. We want to hear more from you, though, because you make this podcast really fun to do, and we love it when you're involved. So we'll have more guests in the future, and maybe you know a guest you want us to have on, and we'd love to hear from you. And Mark, how can people connect with us?
Well, they could follow us on Twitter. The underscore Canardian is my Twitter handle. At T Oxer is Todd's, or you can follow Secret Friends U at Secret Friends U, and get the whole rundown of all of the shows there. You can also follow us at secretfriendsunite.com. That's kind of the catch-all for everything. So we're also actively looking right now for contributors. If you want to write something, a review, an article, I've been putting up a few things there. We've all kind of thrown a few things at the website, but we want some more stuff. More is better, and whatever you want, we can find a space for it. Even like cosplay photos and stuff like that. If you want to share some stuff there, we've got places for it. So send me
Oh,
your
Mark, I was
ideas.
thinking Geek Layers. Donnie from PSVG was posting his videos of all of his cool background lights for all of his consoles.
Yeah, anything.
Show
Like
us your
we
game
can make it.
players.
Like
Yeah,
we're building the website ourselves. If you think we need
yeah.
something, or you want a place to share anything, let us know. We'll make it work, and we want some great contributors. So let us know there. If you want to play with us on different things, I think just Canardian on Xbox. I don't think there's the and you're Sparty on 1998 on PSN, and Sparty on 98 on Xbox and Switch, correct?
Thanks, PlayStation.
There you go. Yeah. So
Let me
that's
hear
it. You
that.
can also, like Todd said before, you can find us on YouTube and podcast services. Please subscribe, rate if you can. We always appreciate it. And of course, share with your friends. You can also follow me. I've been trying to do some more stuff on Instagram and trying to kind of boost up my Instagram presence. So follow me there. I'm the underscore Canardian, I believe, on Instagram as well. I should double check that to make sure, which I'm going to do right now while I'm just kind of vamping. The underscore Canardian. Yes, I got it right. All right. So they're Instagram or Twitter. And I'm going to try to just keep on posting some more stuff. I want, I don't know. I just kind of like the other day, I was just thinking like, I just got to like try to post more on there,
Absolutely.
more photos. I like taking photos of stuff. And now that Finn's kind of getting an interest in some nerdy stuff and just some fun stuff in general, there'd be a little bit of like Finn stuff, but also like a little bit of gaming stuff and Star Wars stuff, I'm sure. So if any of that sounds interesting, hit me up on Instagram.
Perfect. And also, I'm wearing a shirt. Mark is not, but he will be wearing shirts in the future. We have shirts. They're on TeePublic. Secret Friends Unite. Check us out there if you like any of our gear. If you want us to create any new designs, let us know what you'd like to see. I think the best one, though, is it's our images And I'm hoping people will get those shirts in the future, or stickers, anything you want.
Yeah.
Still no hot pants, Mark.
Still no hot pants, still no hats. I don't know what they're doing over at T Public, but I do like the stickers. I even have like a couple of the T Public masks. They're pretty good. I like them. They make
Perfect.
some all right stuff.
Excellent. Well, that is it for the show. Thanks for being with us, guys. We will see you again in 2 weeks. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.